Okay, great. Well, welcome to our webinar today, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm sure you're familiar with me. I'm Jasmine from Sound Business Systems. So we're going to kick the webinar off today. So for a myriad of reasons, the majority of our clients have moved across to Philips SpeechLive. There's just so many features there, too many to mention, but there's also been a number of developments poured into the solution, and it's really coming along in leaps and bounds lately. So I guess the purpose of today is to see, are you aware of the latest speech to text, automation, AI, and integration tools now available in Philips SpeechLive, and to help you understand these features and help you kind of get ahead of the curve, show you how you can use them. So today we have Tom, Karen, and Homer Uzars from Philips, who are going to take us through a show and tell of the latest features. And we also have Yvette McLeod. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Yvette. She works in our technical support team. And there'll be a Q&A session after the presentation. So Yvette will be assisting with that, answering some of the questions. So there's a Q&A chat window in this screen. Perhaps Christine, our marketing manager, you can mention how to use that. But basically, if you could just enter your questions into there, we'll collate them through the webinar, and then at the end in the Q&A session, we'll address those. Christine, did you want to add anything to that?
No.
Did I describe that correctly, the Q&A chat?
Yes, I believe it was sufficient. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Thank you. So just moving along to the next slide, just a quick overview or reminder of who we are. So our head office is in Auckland, New Zealand, but we have 20 staff across New Zealand. The company has been around over 40 years, basically from the old tapes moving through to the recorders, and now the majority of our clients we went to network dictation, and now it's sort of into cloud really. So company's been around over 40 years, at least 100 years collective staff experience. So we find we work either directly with you or your IT company, or quite often now we're working with your transcription company as well. So what we found, or what I hear from practice managers that I talk to, common challenges that we see is an ever-evolving race against time. It's increasingly hard to find and keep skilled support staff. And there are changes in the way that people work and want to work, and the locations that they're working from. Another thing, I guess, from a technical side is collaborating better across the team. And along with that, electronic collaboration, there are increasing requirements for record keeping and tech security in an ever-changing world. So here's just, further to that on the slide, there's just a smattering of our most common kind of wish list tick boxes that I hear from practice managers that I work with on what they're looking for when considering a dictation system. So this one here, I guess our solution to these challenges, and this is a big one really, talking is still up to 7 times faster than typing, sorry. So I guess things are changing quite a bit at the moment. I used to hear a lot of practice managers saying they're finding it difficult to get the newer fee earners that are entering the industry to use dictation, because they're saying, oh, well, I can type quite fast actually, and that's fast enough. But actually what's going on is people slow their thoughts down to the speed that they type, and they're tricking their brain into thinking they're being efficient. you know, so they kind of type self-author a lot of documents themselves. So I guess in that time period, dictation was starting to be considered as a dying skill. But actually, what we're seeing with the latest technological developments is that that is a blip, and dictation is now on a big upswing again. So I guess it's just really our job here at Sound Business Systems is to kind of help make you aware, keep you ahead of the curve. In some countries overseas, we're actually seeing like 80% of the fee earners using speech to text and, you know, automation tools. So that's really what we're here to talk about today. And also big changes for the support team too, changing the way that they work. You know, just taking advantage of those AI tools, the APIs, the webhooks, and the integrations that are now coming on board. So just bridging the gap between dictation and other electronic systems and speeding up processes, reducing double entry, things like that. I guess another benefit there is for the practice managers and the IT managers, because in moving to the cloud, Philips SpeechLive provides greater control and enabling you to manage more of the day-to-day administration yourself, and just, you know, reducing that turnaround time to getting things done. So just checking, just going a very brief overview here of the different workflows. So live at cursor basically means talking straight into your PC or other programs on your PC. So great for emails, quick documents, or directly into your practice management system. That's live at cursor. A lot of people aren't necessarily aware that Philips Speech to Text can do that. Voice file and draft means that your transcriber or your support team can take advantage of the auto transcribe features. And with the new AI tools that we're about to see from Tom and Homer, it's a real time saver and a different way of working. Some of our clients are using the SpeechLive speech to text for face-to-face meetings. So it's up to 10 speakers. Each speaker is labeled and timed. Many of our clients are reporting a 30% reduction in the time it takes to transcribe meetings, which, you know, for a lengthy arbitration or things like that is huge. I'm sure you can all appreciate that. And I guess the other one here is really for your fee earners just working across devices. So if they're at court or on the road, something like that, they can still create documents wherever they are, and it will translate across your different devices. So with that, very high level, I'm now going to hand over to Homer and Tom for a more detailed view of these features.
Thank you, Jasmine. Confirming you can see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So, yeah, first of all, thank you very much for everyone for your time. We know you're all very busy, so we're not going to take up too much of it, but yeah, we're very appreciative that you want to come and learn more about the solution, what it can do for you. There are some really good insights that we can provide today as to what we've recently launched in terms of AI features along with SpeechLive. So there are essentially three ways we're going to show you today. So you've got your dictate at cursor is what we call it, dictate at cursor. So think of it anywhere your keyboard can type on your computer, you can replace with your voice. That can also be, you can also do things like custom vocabulary. So if I say this, enter this. Auto texts, you can say insert signature and it'll do a canned text that you've preloaded into the system. Yeah, replacing your keyboard with a lot more functionality of your voice. We also have the mobile app, which you can dictate on the go. You can also, if you're a bit more old school and you prefer a physical dedicated device with excellent battery life, something like a Philips DPM recorder, you can use that as well and plug that in, and then use the speech recognition as well at a later date. The mobile app obviously gives you instant access to that wherever you are. And then also the web browser. So in the web app, a multitude of things you can do from a speech recognition and AI perspective. We've spoken about it, the desktop app into any application. So think of it, again, any place on the computer, you can put your keyboard and type, you can use your voice. And it is compatible with all microphones. So whether it be your inbuilt microphone on your computer or laptop, or a headset, if you've got a headset you use, or for example, if you sit there and use a Philips speech mic at your desk, it is compatible with any microphone that you can connect to your computer. The AI assistant that we've recently launched is, this is where I guess the next generation of time saving comes. It's not just about speech recognition purely, but it's also about what can we do with those words. So there's a few things we've introduced recently, being Smart Transcript, which will auto punctuate and auto correct based on context. Smart Refine, which I'll go into a bit more detail on the next slide. Insights and summaries, so you can have a meeting of up to 10 people. You can either have the multi-speaker speech recognition, which is essentially just a conversation up to 10 speakers, and then that is diarizing and separating the speakers. But insights and summaries will actually provide things like, and I'll show it in a second, things like tasks. So if there are dedicated tasks that are spoken about in the call. So for example, if we're recording this meeting and I said, Jasmine, can you follow up the question from the attendee, Michael? I won't need to have that. If I send it to insights and summaries, that'll automatically take that and show you at the end of the meeting, hey, this was an action point for Jasmine of this, contact Michael. And if I go to the Smart Refine now, so Smart Refine will take your rough and unstructured dictation and turn it into a clear, grammatically correct text. So it will fix your grammar, it'll fix your punctuation. The main one is it removes filler words. I'll show you on the next slide what that looks like, but things like it will actually remove those for you in the converted document. Whereas historically, speech to text will take verbatim what you say in your voice and convert that into a text. So it would include the words comma, etc. You can actually adapt it to different styles as well. So you can do it as a standard with no tone or style changes. You can have it with a legal sense or a business professional tone. So what I mean by that is, if this is what I am saying at the top here with my voice, so there's this legal thing, right? And I think it's about some kind of contract or maybe dispute or something. Yeah, so the guy said something about breaching the terms and conditions. I think there was some kind of penalty or fine. Now, I'm sure that's not how many of you talk all the time, but there are times where we have these little filler words. This is obviously an extreme example. So this will refine that and go, there's a legal matter involving a contract or possibly a dispute. Someone mentioned breaching terms and conditions, which could lead to a penalty or fine. So what it does is it takes that unstructured text and then converts it into a structured tone. And then if, for example, breaching the terms and conditions, it'll actually change the contextualize that, and rather than write breaching, it'll say breaching the terms and conditions. So a lot of time can be saved with removing the filler words and the things that aren't needed if you're trying to get a document created with your voice. The summary and insights. So this is what the UI looks like, the user interface looks like in SpeechLive. You can see here you choose the number of speakers that are in the file, up to 10, and then you choose if you want advanced insights, a detailed summary, etc. What that looks like is this. It will output the conversation broken up by speakers. Now, the speakers aren't named, but we can see in the conversation, speaker 1, which is identified as the voice of that speaker. My name is John, by the way. Speaker 2, I'm Yumi. Nice to meet you. Well, the insights will state that speaker 1 is John from London. Speaker 2 is Yumi from Hokkaido, Japan. They're discussing here, it's a very basic conversation about the weather. It says the key discussion points were the weather, what summer activities they enjoy, and then cultural comparisons between London and Japan. And then the tasks that were identified were at the end. For John, share recommendations on parks and picnic spots in London. For Yumi, research popular museums in London or plan a potential trip. So it's taken the conversation, which was recorded, it's given you a transcript of it, and then on top, it's given you the insights from that transcript. Really quite powerful. The natural conversation that we always have around this is privacy, privacy and security. I'm very happy to say that we take this with the utmost importance, and we are industry leading when it comes to privacy. All our solution is hosted on the Microsoft Azure platform. We do not use ChatGPT. We use the Microsoft Azure OpenAI. It is end-to-end encrypted. We do not use any data for model training. We do not share data externally. And it uses the SpeechLive enterprise-grade data protection. It is an isolated environment for each customer. And as I said, no sharing between accounts, things like that, and no model training. We're ISO certified, ISO 9001, and also ISO 27001 certified. That means the solution and our business is ISO certified. I can assure you, and if there are any questions, we obviously are more than happy to answer them, certainly from the IT department, but more than happy to share any insights or questions you have, because we take this very seriously. The other thing I'd like to say is that this is all, sometimes you get businesses that charge for individual packs. So whether you want the advanced insights, whether you want the smart refine, everything's separate charges, or it's paid as you go. This is all one package. So one add-on package, the speech recognition module for SpeechLive, everything is included. You get the speech recognition, you get it desktop, replacing your keyboard, so what we call at cursor. You get your mobile app, you get the web app, and you get the AI, all included for the same cost. With that, I think it's important to show you how it looks like in the system. I know a lot of you here are existing SpeechLive customers, so I'll pass over to Homer now, my colleague, and he'll show you what that translates to and looks like in the actual live environment. You, Homer.
Thank you, Tom. I'll now share my screen. Yeah, just wanted to check.
While you're getting that up, Homer, get reminder to everyone in the chat that if you do have any questions, please pop them through on the Q&A tab, and I will and we will try to answer them at the best. And if not, at the end of this, we'll obviously get back to you in due course as well. Okay. Thanks, Homer. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Tom. Just wanted to check if everyone is seeing my screen at the moment. Okay, perfect. So in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can use the speech-to-text and AI, both as an author, the one doing dictation, and also as a typist receiving audio files from your authors. So the first demonstration I'm going to do is the dictate at cursor using the Philips desktop app. So I'm going to compose a short customer letter using the desktop app. Which is going to be a dictate at cursor function. So I'm going to put the cursor where I want the text to appear, and tapping on the designated key on my keyboard, I'll start the recording. Dear John, new paragraph. Thank you for meeting me today to discuss the settlement agreement regarding your injury claim. Full stop. New paragraph. Hopefully, we can secure a favorable settlement for your case soon. Full stop. I will update you in due course once we get the offer. Full stop. New paragraph. Insert footer. So that's how easy it is to use the desktop app to do your own documentation, quick documentation, composing a letter, composing an email, or putting notes into your practice management software. Just open up the SpeechLive desktop app.
Important to note as well, I think we obviously saw you dictating in the box there, so it actually comes up in the box before it transfers to the document. If the end user wishes to see it coming up as they speak in the document, you can also do that. So we offer you the best of both worlds. We like to do it in the box because it goes over and then it just goes in as one whole formatted piece, and you don't sort of get, I guess, confused looking at the document as it's going, etc. But yeah, you do have the option of both.
That's correct. And that can all be set in the menu section in the desktop app. As you can see, this is what Tom is referring to. Auto correction at cursor. I had it disabled, so it will translate in the box first before it transfers to the document. And you may have noticed I had a command called insert footer, and it returned the yours faithfully and my name. you can do that. You can create obviously your own custom voice commands in the voice command section. So here is how I did it. I had a command insert footer, and the text is returned after invoking that voice command. So it's pretty easy to use and easy to set up for the authors. Okay. So the next use case I have is for authors who are dictating with the Philips SpeechLive phone app. So let me share my app on the screen and create a text note that I will access later when I get back to my computer, or my typist can readily access once it's sent to them. So if I'm sure authors would be familiar about the two icons they see when they're doing dictation. I would assume about 95% are using the audio record button, but only 5% have explored using the voice to text option as well. So let me do that.
Also, thank you to everyone putting the questions in the chat. I will go through and answer some of them individually now where I can, and we'll share them at the end as well.
Okay. We'll go to that use case later on. I'll just need to restart my phone, and let me go to the typist side on how you can actually make use of the speech recognition and speech to text feature. So I have preloaded, in the interest of time, 5 sample dictations. I will go with the long dictations first, the top 2 right on top. I have here a 3-speaker recording. It's actually an interview I extracted from Spotify. Some innocuous interview about an Australian investor visiting the UK, and he was interviewed in a radio station. So for this one, I will use the Smart Insights. So it's a 15-minute recording, 16-minute recording. I don't have time to listen to the entire interview. What I can do is use the AI option on the bottom right. So if you are a typist or an author, simply click on that particular recording. It will display the web player on the side. And on the bottom right, you can choose to send it to AI. You send it to AI and click on Smart Summary and Insights. And as Tom mentioned, there are several options for you. So for this case, I want an advanced insight of this recording, and I indicate the number of speakers. Obviously, you choose the language. So for this one, I just chose English Australia, and then send to AI. So once it's sent, you can close the window, and you can go on the next recording that you need to work on. The second recording I have is actually a phone interview between a customer and the customer support agent of a company. So for this one, I just want to have the raw transcript of this telephone recording. So for this one, I will choose the multi-speaker transcript that's available in SpeechLive AI as well. So again, click on the recording, click on send to, and I choose SpeechLive AI. And for this one, I will choose multi-speaker transcript. This one is the pure transcript of the audio. There's no analysis or no refinement. It's raw transcript of the audio recording. Again, select my number of speakers and send to SpeechLive AI. So I now have 2 jobs percolating in my dictation list. And then The third scenario I have for you is typists would normally get dictations from solicitors or doctors who are adept at punctuating their own recording. So they would say new, comma, full stop, new paragraph, new line. I believe more than half of people doing dictation are doing punctuation on their recording. So for audio recordings that are punctuated, simply click on that dictation and send it to the normal speech recognition option. Obviously, you would choose the language used by the author or the accent. Click OK, and that will now be sent to into the system. And then the next use case. This is a recording where the speaker has a lot of filler words when he or she dictates. I'm not sure if everyone can hear the actual recording if I play it.
No, we can't, Homer.
Okay, that's fine. I will just send it to Smart Refine. As Tom mentioned earlier. Again, there are three options: standard, legal, and business. This one is just a standard dictation. As I'm not a lawyer, I'll use a standard and send it to Smart Refine. So once you've sent it, just close it and let the system do the work. And then the last one I have for you is the unpunctuated dictation. So I would assume there are people who dictate just straight their notes or whatever letter they have regarding a particular client or patient. So if you receive an unpunctuated recording, the option that we recommend to use would be the Smart Transcript. Again, click on the dictation, go to the SpeechLive AI option, and just get the Smart Transcript. So what it does, it applies punctuation and formatting to that unpunctuated audio recording for a more enhanced transcript. Then close. Now I have all the jobs sitting here. Let's go to the Smart Trans to speak.
Hi, Homer. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jazz.
One moment. Sorry to interrupt everybody. I just wanted to say there's just so much to look at here, and we're running very close out of time. There's actually been quite a lot of questions as well. So what I'm going to say is for those who need to leave at past, not a problem. We're going to record this webinar and we'll send you the recording afterwards. And also I'll send a written summary of the Q&A. And with that, if you want to stay on if you have time, and I'll hand it back over to you, Homer.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that, Jess. So let's go to the two-speaker recording that we have. And I think for the typist, you now have this new feature on your dictation player, which is the text editor. If you want to quickly view the text out of that recording, click on the text editor, and you can easily see the transcript generated out of that recording. So you can listen to the original audio and go through the actual text for proofreading and make sure that the text is faithful to what is said in the original audio. Okay, I'll close that for now. Discard the changes. And let's go to the Spotify interview. It's a 16-minute recording, as you can see here. Click on that one. Again, you can view the insights and summary, the summary and insights. And voila, So even without listening to the entire 17-minute conversation, you can have a detailed glance of what was discussed in the interview. So key discussion points, opportunities, and all the topics that have been discussed, networking, collaboration, key takeaways, close remarks. I'll close this one for now. And it will also generate a transcript of that recording. So you sort of hit two birds with one stone with this option. So you also get the raw transcript, which you can download and save in your document management system. And maybe I'll go to the unpunctuated dictation last in the interest of time. So this is one where the author just dictates straight without pausing for any punctuation or formatting. And look how it was generated by the AI speech-to-text conversion. It formatted with the proper punctuations, proper syntax on the actual audio. So those are the different ways on how you can utilize the speech recognition and SpeechLive AI. More than anything else, it takes away the stress out of deadlines in creating documents. In a 10-minute demonstration window that I just did, I was able to do 5 dictations. So imagine the time you will save in your actual work environment by simply utilizing these features that are already available to you in your respective accounts. So with that, I think, Jazz, we will transition.
Yeah, I was just going to show one more, say rather, in terms of testing. So what we offer is 200 minutes for every single user of account. Homer, I just think while you got the screen open there, do you want to show them where they can see their remaining minutes? So hovering over the send to speech to text, if you've got your author open there. Oh, you're logged in as a typist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm logged in as a typist, and I think this is already our paid demo account, Tom.
Okay.
So it will only show the remaining minutes if you're using the trial minutes.
So as a user, though, you can hover. So you go into your web app and you can go to the Send to Speech Recognition button, and then you can hover over that and it'll tell you how many minutes you have remaining of your trial. If you've tested in the past, when we launched the AI features, we did top every account up to 150 minutes. So feel free to test. If you have any questions on that testing as well, you can obviously reach out to Jasmine from Sound Business Systems.
So there's been a lot of Q&A, or a fair amount in the chat. Tom, you've been answering some of those questions there. So yeah. Tom, I believe you want to just highlight a few of those for us, please.
Certainly, yeah. I think one of the questions that we do get a lot is obviously comparing Philips and Dragon. We know that Dragon's been heavily used over the last years by a lot of legal and medical professionals. And the question in the chat was, is this essentially a direct replacement, albeit with what appears to be more AI power and such features? So yes, essentially you can replace Dragon with Philips SpeechLive if you wish, depending on your use case. But what we offer over Dragon is no individual voice profile training is required. So I think one of the other questions was around foreign accents and how it handles that. Well, as you saw with Homer has a Filipino Aussie accent, and it handles it very well. So you don't actually need to individually train the voice profile. The system we use on the back end accepts a wide range of accents. The other thing is that the audio file is retained with SpeechLive. So with Dragon, you are obviously dictating at cursor, and for the most part, you don't retain that audio file. Well, with SpeechLive, you can create the audio file and have it saved as a reference point to go back over and check, but also for potentially compliance reasons down the track, if you wanted to retain the audio file of a multi-speaker transcript, you can do that. So the multi-speaker is obviously another bigger advantage over Dragon. So with Dragon, it is individuals only, whereas this, you get the benefit of everything. Obviously, you get the AI advancements on top of that, and it is at no extra cost in the speech recognition package. So the speech recognition package is an add-on to your SpeechLive subscription, but it is all included in the one package. One other question was around the medical vocabulary and the lexicon. So I think, as I replied in the question, it actually constantly surprises us how accurate the medical terminology is. We have general practitioners who actually use SpeechLive for their general day-to-day dictation needs. Certainly basic and even intermediate, I would call, medicines and medical conditions are recognized, but I'm in no way going to say that it is specifically medically focused. So you obviously have the custom vocabulary, so you can very easily add medical conditions or drug names or patient names or regular, colleagues that you refer to who have a unique name. You can customize that and certainly add it in. And what I would do is I would implore anyone who uses it for a medical sense to test it using the free minutes and provide us with feedback as to the accuracy. As I said, we do have general practitioners who do use the service. I would also, there's another question in regards to Mac usage. So Mac, you absolutely can. That is a big difference compared to Dragon as well. You can use SpeechLive on Mac OS, on Windows, whatever you choose to use, you can use it. You can use the @cursor functionality. You can use the backend, the multi-speaker. Everything is accessible across Mac OS and Windows, as well as iOS and Android for mobile devices. What other questions do we have in there? I'm having a look here. So there's another question regarding the Dragon. So when the audio file is retained, so that is not stored locally on your computer. This is a cloud-based solution. So everything is stored in the cloud. And what I mean by that is on the remote servers, the Azure Microsoft secured servers, where SpeechLive and all your files are currently retained anyway. That is where the audio file is retained. Now, nothing on your computer in terms of taking up storage, it's not going to affect that at all. So that's when you have the cloud solution, that is why it's saved on a remote server. You can access it from anywhere. If you're on one computer and you go to a next one and you log into your SpeechLive account via the browser, you access your files from anywhere in the world. So no, it does not take up the files and storage on your computer. Another question was around, does it work in Excel? Yes, absolutely. Anywhere your keyboard can go on the computer, this can replace your voice. Absolutely. Any other questions?
There's one there. Can administrator of the account see all authors remaining 200 trial minutes? Did you answer that, Tom? Or
no, so there is the ability to see how many trial minutes are left is on the individual basis. So that user goes in and simply hovers over the send to speech recognition button, and they can see how many they have left. You can go into the admin, and you can work with Sound Business if you wish on this to have we can export how many minutes have been used by each user, and we can do a CSV file export that you can then see how much and who is using the solution currently. So you can do that, but from an admin point of view, seeing exactly how many minutes are left in the system, you can't. That is the individual user who simply hovers over and says how many they've got left.
There's an interesting point, because I get a lot of practice managers wanting to implement speech-to-text trials for their end users. But, because those minutes have been around for a while and people didn't necessarily realize it was a trial, that they've used up quite a few of those minutes as well. So definitely have a chat with me to see if we can, as with the new features as well, maybe you haven't had a chance to test those out. So yeah, have a chat with me. I'll let you know how many minutes you've used, if you have any remaining, and what we can do to try and get you on a trial of the new features, test them out.
Absolutely.
Did we have any other questions or answers or anything that we wanted to we haven't answered or we want to have a look at here?
Yeah, I'm just not sure how many are still keen to see how you can dictate with the app. I managed to revive my app at the moment.
I think it's worth maybe potentially showing, Homer. There's still a fair few attendees in.
Okay.
I think just quickly show the @cursor on the phone.
Okay, let me
ability.
share my screen again. So I now have my app working. So to dictate your text straight from the app, select the speech recognition dictation option down here. Add a title. Note to self. Click OK. Oops. Dear ladies and gentlemen, comma, new paragraph. I would like to apologize for the technical hiccup earlier during my demonstration. Full stop, new paragraph. I hope we have shown you all the capabilities of Philips Dictation when it comes to speech recognition and SpeechLive AI. Full stop. New paragraph. Thanks, everyone. Full stop. So you can now make use of this option to quickly create text notes for yourself or notes that you can send to your respective assistants. So when you're done, just tap the forward icon and it will automatically go to yourself as an author and also to your default theme with your typing pool.
Thanks, Homer. Regarding questions, I think I can see another one regarding microphones for meetings. So it's a very valid question. The input device, your output is only going to be as good as your input device. So whatever is being used to record the audio is obviously imperative as to the quality that you put into the system. In saying that, I think depends on a couple of scenarios and how many speakers, but we have things such as dedicated meeting microphones. I can show you here. This is a Philips omnidirectional microphone. It has a speaker built in as well. And then it has microphones on all sides of the device. We also have a version, for example, that has a 4K camera built in that automatically moves to the speaker. These sort of devices in meetings we find excellent. If you're doing a one-on-one meeting, to be honest, an Apple iPhone or your modern day smartphone in between the table of a couple of speakers is absolutely adequate. Depending on the background noise, things like that. The higher the background noise, I think a dedicated device makes sense because it can filter out the ambient noise quite well. But absolutely, in terms of microphone, a dedicated device in the middle of a room or a speaker can do wonders. So yeah, that's just one microphone device. You don't need individual for everyone. It's just one device, and then that's the AI component. So what a lot of multi-speaker solutions do is they require separate input from each of the voices, and then it basically does speech recognition on each individual voice. Well, what SpeechLive does is it takes one audio source, and the AI component hears the voice differences, and then will automatically separate the speakers based on those traits. So you don't need individual microphones for each person.
Yeah, and we have those meeting microphones here at the office for people to test out, actually. There was another question here just about Surface Pro tablet in the field. Did we answer that one, Tom?
So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because I am a Mac user, unfortunately, but Surface Pro tablet is based on the Windows environment. So absolutely,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely,
as long as so there is the desktop app, you can use everything we have shown you today as it's running Windows. So you can use it. The inbuilt microphone on the device would absolutely work. Obviously, it depends on ambient noise is the only thing. It is surprisingly accurate with ambient noise. And look, the quality of microphones on devices these days is quite high. But that's the only thing I would suggest is if there's a lot of ambient noise potentially dictating directly into it, do the test yourself and let us know how it goes, because we do see a lot of positive results there, but and positive feedback. But I would implore you to test it. But absolutely, it would work.
Oh, we can't hear you, Jasmine.
There's another question that I can see here regarding more than 10 people in a meeting. Look, certainly do your own tests, but we limit it to 10 based on a couple of factors. It can tend to overload the AI. Look, we're working to fix that and expand it. I would be sticking to 10 for now, but certainly do your own tests and see how it goes. What you run into though is if you say 10 and there's say 20 people, sometimes the AI might say one person is the same once you get to the 18th, 19th, 20th person. So by all means, feel free to test. But in terms of speaker separation, we limit it to 10 at the moment. But as soon as we, as soon as we increase that, we'll let you know.
I just wanted to add too, by the way, I mean, I am a real stickler for quality input. And I think, if you are using a Microsoft Surface or even quite, at your desk at home, a proper headset with a boom microphone really, I think is pretty essential. And we have very nice little Bluetooth ones now. We just fit it on over the ear. You've got a very small dongle which pops into your USB port, so it's highly transportable and just, really convenient for people to use. But anyway, look, we are way over time, so we'd better sign off now. So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you so much, Homer and Tom. So as I said before, I'll send you all a recording of this plus a summary of the Q&A, and if you want to check how many minutes you have or have a trial, or if you've used some of the features and not others and you want to have a play with those, just get in touch with me.
Sure. Thanks everyone for your time and attention. We appreciate time out of your day, and any questions, as she said, reach out and we're here to support you as well. So thank you very much for your time and look forward to chatting soon.